What if I told you life isn't just something that happens to you? What if it's actually a game? And like any good game, there's a way to win. That's the strategy guide we're breaking down today. All right, let's just jump right in with this. Have you ever had one of those moments, you know the one, where you are so completely locked in on what you're doing that the rest of the world just fades away? Your confidence is through the roof, everything just clicks, and you're not just doing a task, you are the task. Well, that amazing feeling, it actually has a name. It's called the flow state. And look, this isn't some fluffy concept about just being present. No, this is about channeling all of your focus into a goal that actually matters. It's the secret weapon of pretty much every top performer out there, and it's the difference between just sleepwalking through life and actually leveling up. But, okay, if this state is so incredible, why does it feel so ridiculously out of reach for so many of us? Well, there's a huge problem. We're caught in the modern player's dilemma. It's like we're stuck on the tutorial level and can't figure out how to start the real game. I mean, just think about it. The modern world is basically an all-out war for your attention. We're facing a massive crisis of purpose. A lot of us are stuck in these repetitive, unfulfilling jobs. Our phones are screaming at us 24/7. And if we're being honest, most of us don't even have a clear idea of what we want. So the default setting for our brain? Pure chaos. And this mental chaos, this enemy we're all fighting, it has a name: psychic entropy. The easiest way to picture it is like having way too many tabs open on your computer. Your brain's processor just can't keep up. Your energy gets drained, your attention is split a million different ways, and you're left feeling stressed and overwhelmed instead of focused and in control. So, if our minds naturally default to chaos, what's the move? How do we fight back? Well, we can actually redesign our reality. We can start treating life like the ultimate RPG. You know, there's a reason games like World of Warcraft are so ridiculously addictive. It's because they give our chaotic minds the one thing they crave more than anything else: order. You've got clear goals, you've got quests, you've got a leveling system. It cuts right through the noise and gives you that constant, satisfying feeling of making progress. And when you put them side by side like this, the difference is just stark. The default life path that society kind of hands to you, it often feels like a treadmill of goals somebody else set for you, filled with repetitive tasks. But a well-designed game that is built from the ground up to keep you engaged, you choose your quests, you watch your skills progress, you get to explore and experiment. Think about it this way. In a game, you choose your character class, right? A mage, a warrior, a rogue, and that choice dictates your abilities. Well, life is exactly the same. The identity you adopt, which, by the way, is usually programmed into you by your culture and your upbringing without you even noticing, that identity shapes all the opportunities you see. The really scary part is that, unlike in a game, most of us are playing a character class we never even consciously chose. So, if life is this giant game, what's the ultimate power-up? What's the cheat code? It's that exact feeling we started with, the flow state. This is the key that makes the entire game worth playing. The guy who literally wrote the book on this, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, he absolutely nailed it. He discovered that our best, most memorable moments, they don't come from just chilling out and relaxing. Nope. The peak experiences in our lives happen when we voluntarily stretch our minds or bodies to their limits to do something that is both difficult and worthwhile. So where do you find this flow? It's all about balance. If a task is way too easy, you're going to be bored out of your mind. If it's impossibly hard, you'll just be anxious and overwhelmed. Flow happens right in that perfect channel, that sweet spot where the challenge is perfectly matched to your skill level. It pushes you, but it doesn't break you. And when you hit that channel, man, it's like magic. Your focus becomes a laser beam. You feel totally in control. That little nagging voice in your head that loves to second guess you, it just goes silent. The work itself becomes the reward, and suddenly you look up and hours have passed by like they were minutes. That is maximum enjoyment. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we stop being just another player following an assigned path and become the designer of our own game? Step 1 is all about creating your vision, but here's the twist. You start by defining your anti-vision. You literally write down in detail all the experiences and outcomes you absolutely do not want. Why? Because knowing what you're running from is incredibly powerful fuel. Only after that's crystal clear do you build the vision of what you're running to, and then break it down into actionable goals. And you have to remember, This vision isn't like a final boss you beat once and then the game is over. Life is an infinite game. The goal isn't to win, it's to keep playing effectively. And to do that, you have to be leveling up consistently across 4 fundamental areas of your life. You can think of these as your 4 core skill trees. You've got your mind, which you build through curiosity and learning. You've got your body, which is the actual vessel for your entire experience. You've got your business, which is really just about doing meaningful work that solves problems you care about. And finally, your connections with others. The key is if you neglect one of these, it'll eventually drag all the others down. So what's the fastest way to level up these skills? It's not about passively consuming information. It's about building things. So first, you create a project for yourself. Something tangible with a real deadline. Second, you learn as you build. Instead of trying to learn everything up front, you only seek out the specific knowledge you need right when you hit a roadblock. And third, you teach what you learn. The act of explaining a concept to someone else is the ultimate way to master it yourself. So this really leaves us with one final crucial question. Are your daily actions just a distraction? Are you just playing random side quests? Or are you consciously designing your game, building your character, and leveling up in the areas that truly matter? Because at the end of the day, you can either play the game or you can get played by it. The choice is yours.